Becoming a successful professional speaker is a journey. How do you find that first stage, the next stage, and then the bigger and better stages? I'm Lee Hayes, your host. My co-hosts and I are here to guide you to a more successful speaking career. You're listening to Path to the Main Stage podcast. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about branding. So what I did is I brought on the expert as my co-host. Welcome back, Ramon Ray. How are you today?
Lee, it's good to be back. Thanks for having me back. Glad I can talk about something that I have a little expertise in, and I feel blessed and well. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, just a little expertise. So for anyone watching video, here's the book, but Ramon is the author, look at this, of The Celebrity CEO. And he's the guy. He knows how to brand. So interesting, Ramon. I've been to a few of your events because you're one of these guys. You have a strong brand, but you're also just a delightful person. So just for everyone out there, when Ramon says, would you? The answer is yes, right? Would you come to my event? Yes. Like when, where? Could you? Of course. Would you work with? Yes. And I remember the last time I went down there was New York City. You had Seth Godin popping around. The time before that, you had Joe Connolly popping around. You ask people to do things and they just say yes to you.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, I did ask now, Barack once, Donald another time, Oprah. Well, I call her Ope, kind of just when we're, not with everybody. And they declined, but thank you, Lee. I'll receive that. I do know some cool people, as you do as well. And I'm curious, Lisa, let's talk about branding. Even though in this case of this show, you asked me to come in as the branding expert, you are an observation of brands. So whether you could talk about speakers if you wish. If you don't want to, it's fine. Or brands you like, but what does branding mean to you? And does any speaker come to mind that you're saying, these are one or two speakers, their brand is dialed in? I would curious what you think.
I love that question. I really do. So branding to me means when people hear your name, what feeling does it invoke? Who are you to them, right? What's important about you to them? And, people who I really think have a dialed in brand, let's talk about Freddie Ravel. Let me see if I see him on my little thing back. There he is. So Freddie Ravel is a Grammy nominated pianist. He's a musician. But man, if you look up FreddieRavel.com, it actually reroutes you. He's got the brand down. So he has worked with all sorts of musical groups from, Earth, Wind and Fire to Madonna to Prince, you name it. And he just has that energy, music, the international connection that music makes with all of us. Such a strong brand. So there's one that just
and a new name for me. And tell me if I didn't know him, which I don't, and you had to use an animal. And if we're going too far off the reservation, Lee, just bring me back, rope me back, no problem. But if you had to think of an animal, a fruit, a color, a car, like how would you describe Ramon? Okay, so Lee, I'm having an event. We got 50,000 people coming, 4-camera shot. It's in Las Vegas. We're looking for a speaker. You can't use his name, Lee. But, play the game of brand like Freddie Ravel. He's like an animal, a fruit, or a color. I don't know. Maybe this is too much, but I'm just curious what you would say. And you can feel free to give me a speaker name. I'll do the same. But what would you, just...
Well, I'm going to go black, white, and gold for the colors on the piano key, the keyboard, and then the gold that he brings. Okay. What else can I say? Energy, connection, international connection, right? He has that global feel where he connects with people of all languages, cultures. Very intercultural.
I'm not biting into a donut for sure. I'm biting into a crisp apple that popped a little bit and some of the juice just kind of went down there. And that's kind of like Freddie Ravel, maybe?
Yeah, it's sort of like a Sour Patch Kid. I think you bite into that apple and you go,
okay,
that's the type apple he is.
Like
it's boom, right? If he was a sound, it would be ba-ba-boom. That's
like it.
That's it. He is the crescendo at the end of a musical piece. You ever listen to classical music? And at the end, 99% of the time, there's that ba-ba-boom.
I love it.
And the boom tells you to applaud. Apparently, the reason classical artists did that was because you don't applaud between movements, but at the end of the piece, you applaud. And the way you can tell at the end of the piece is by that boom. Freddie's the boom.
So do I have time for one more thing? I mean, I know I'm the co-host, but do I have time? Okay. So and I've never heard Brene Brown that much at all. but it was fair to say than a Brene Brown type. And again, feel free to push back. But she may be like wonderful lobster risotto or something. Where, and again, she's world class, well known, $1 million
Right,
speaker.
right,
But meaning is it, as we're just playing this game, some you may say, oh, they're the boom, people on their feet hooping and
right.
hollering. But her, yeah, your soul feels something. Is that kind of ish or where you're trying to go?
Yeah, no, yes, I get it. Like she is rich and you feel it and it evokes emotion. But that's funny because then you've got I like the
Yeah.
food
Okay.
with speakers idea. And I think here's a tip to everyone. What food are you, right? If you're a brand, start thinking about this. I love that connection. Because like Mike
Yeah.
McCallowitz, we both know Mike, he's a burger, man. He is a medium rare, leaky, bite
With the
into it
ketchup
burger,
on
right?
it,
He's
you put a napkin on
with the
you.
goo with the napkin. He is right because he's
Ye
every man. Every man simplify. It's not right. It's not
yes.
cuisine. He'll be like, take all that stuff, and here's a burger
And he
you can
uses
bite
humor
into,
in a
you can
good way
relate
too.
to,
Humor is one of his what I
which is
know,
why
he
it's
humor in a good.
what kind of food are you, Ramon? What is
Okay, well,
Ramon?
I'm biased a bit because I like bacon, so I don't know if that best describes me. So it's not bacon. I would you know what are the things you put in your mouth and they pop, 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 pop in your mouth?
Pop rocks.
I like to think, I don't know my audience, and you've seen me though, but my clients, and I
Yep,
say in a good way, because you can't have pop rocks all the time. You don't want pop rocks everything you eat. Fairness, right? But I think pop
fair.
rocks, everybody like good. Is it pop rocket or pop rock? What's it called? Pop?
I think it's a rock, like, 'cause they're pebbles. I think it's
Well, you,
rocks.
Lee and I,
Yeah,
we're gonna call it pop rocks. So
I think so.
everybody likes pop rocks. Everybody wants some of that, and so that's me because I can anchor an event, open an event, close an event before lunch, after lunch, and then you kind of fill it in with all the other great speakers that you need. But that's how I like to position myself ish. So pop rocks.
You are pop rocks. Bacon flavored pop rocks. Okay,
You made my day.
there we go. All right, so we've got the feeling, all your speakers, you're all food
Mhm.
types. But I'd love to start digging into brand now. I had because we were talking about different brands and impressions. I worked with one speaker in the past, and I started looking for brand, right? So I looked at her website, her posts, the feel she gave. Everything was pink. Like that's what I noted. And I'm wearing purple today. She was wearing this female, this feminine but bright hot pink. Everything was pink. And I said, "Oh, this is sort of interesting. What is pink?" She goes, "Oh, pink is my brand." Here's my first question to you. Is pink a brand or is pink a piece of what goes into branding?
See now you went political, Lee. You just forced me to do a deep end of the water to get academic. Here's what I think.
I want academic a little bit here.
We can call out the speaker's name if you wish, or just leave people just getting the metaphor of it. There's a speaker that wears all yellow. I think that's such a part of their brand and
Mhm.
who they are that when I see it, I know who that is in the right context, of course. So I think
Mhm.
it can be because of how egregious, and I think egregious is bad. So I mean egregious in a good way. Everybody, Ramon has words issues, but it's so big as part of their brand. When they wear it, it's like that's them. It's like all of them. We all get it. Kind of like the Intel Inside back in the days. Do 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 do. Even that was McDonald's. So to answer your question, I do think in a way just to help speakers. Just because you wear pink and it's part of your brand. I think where you were going, Lee,
Mm.
yes. But I think if you want to own the whole enchilada, it takes time and a lot of work. But what do you think, Lee? Is that helpful that I confuse things a bit?
No, no, it is helpful, and you're right. I was thinking about banana yellow, and indeed that is part of his brand, and it pops. But it's not just the color, right? The color means something, and I think that your brand has to mean something. It has to be authentic to you, but it has to mean something to your client.
It's a good.
And here's my concern with the color being a brand is this. So the one with pink,
Mhm.
female, and she was very, now she's really into the woman's market. But initially she said, "Oh, no, no. I am a
Yeah.
neutral speaker. Like I speak to women, I speak to
Nope.
men." I said, "Then is that really what your brand should be? Is that the color of your brand?" And she goes, "Well, that's who I
Nope.
am." I said, "Yes, but who is your customer? Do they feel pink? Am I going down the right road,
Lee,
Ramon? Does your customer have to feel the
you are
brand?
100% on board. 100%. And that's where then make a decision as we get older or more mature. I should not older, more mature, is that sure decide if this is what you like, if this is what you like, really, really like, no
Mhm.
problem. Lee and I are saying take your pick. But then you can't say, I really, really like to wear certain colors. And you're going to area, where the college football is really important. And you're wondering why they say, no, Lee, I've been in places. I could have been with you, I'm not sure, but they were like, oh, I think Gators, something, orange and blue.
Mhm.
I don't know sports.
Yeah.
But she told me in a good way, nothing bad, but she said, yeah, Ramon, these guys are rabid sports fans. They'll think you're rooting for the other team. So maybe just adjust it. She told me that. So yeah, Lee, you are on the right track. I think we can all decide. Or let's take the example. Speakers who curse quite a bit. I won't pass no judgment. I mean, do I have my own issues?
Part of the
But I'll
brand.
pass no judgment. But you now need to make a
Yeah.
decision. This the way I am, no problem. That's the way they are, they'll pick.
Mhm.
No judgment. So Lee, yes, I think we all can decide. Side note, I was not feeling so well, so I was growing my hair out a bit. I think maybe I asked you, Lee, about it, and I asked a few people. They're like, Ryan Reynolds, whatever, sexy man of the year. Like, nah, you gotta shape it or something, but it don't look the same on you as them. So my look is clean shaven because I need to be fully
Mhm.
dialed in. Even if I wanted to grow it out, the market in my little test is saying, nah, it's not all cute on you, Ramon. So yeah,
So yeah, so the market
yeah, market
matters.
matters.
That's really what I want to go is the market matters. And I'm going to have a whole different podcast about bios, but my mantra always is your bio is not about you. Your bio is about what you offer the customer. And now I think that's accurate with brand too. Your brand is not just about you. It has to be authentic. You got to feel it. I'm not going to come out here now in biker duds, right? No one would buy that even if I said that was who I
I
want to
would.
be. So yeah, you would. But your brand's not just about you. Your brand is about what your client feels, what you bring to the client.
That's right. 100%
All
absolutely. And be
right.
sensitive to that and aware and don't be offended depending on how people vote with their dollars.
They do. They do vote with dollars. And so tell me a little bit more about brand specifically. It's not just color.
Correct.
What are other things? What are elements? I know I'm making you go academic here again. What are elements
Yeah.
that impact
Yeah, a
brand?
few things about brand. And again, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way, but I'll say what Ramon has learned over a few years. Give a few bullet points. You can tell me which thread you want to pull more, as it were. But I think one, a brand does take some time and consistency. Based on what I've learned, the Ramon Ray I am today that people say, ooh, Ramon high energy, or Ramon always wears colored socks, or Ramon, his business cards. Did you see his business cards? Ramon, look at your business cards. All those things go back to who I am. I'm not trying to be who I'm not, but I've made this caricature in a good way, and hopefully I'm here even on this discussion. It's me. Maybe if I'm home with just my wife, I may be a little more muted, but it's me. So I think brandly, when I think about it, it's as you started out. What is it that people tell other people about, especially for the speaker, when they're seeking to hire you? What is it that the client, potential client, is thinking about when they're sitting by themselves and thinking, Lee Hayes or Jenny? Okay, we're having an event full of doctors. We're having an event full of kids. We're having an event, lights, camera, action. Who are we going to be? So branding, yes, colors is important. Two, business cards important. Number three, how do you show up on social media? Lee, as you know, I show up quite a bit on video. And that's one thing people say, Ramon, I watch quite a bit of your stuff. I get you in one way, shape, or fashion just based on your videos. Number four, I've had people tell me, Ramon, we got a sense of your positivity based on your emails. I didn't know I wrote the word grateful so much. I didn't know I populated my emails so much with exclamation marks. It telegraphs who I am. So those speakers, I come to a close on this partly, who are looking really to build a brand, yes, you should. Yes, it is doable, but I think that it's not one thing, it's that holistic thing over time that you do so consistently, and you start to do it as well subliminally, that others begin to take notice. So don't be offended if Lee Hayes says, oh yeah, that's the speaker who's real quiet, making it up, and you're like, no, 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 but I'm not. Lee don't know you. She just watched you, she observed you over years, and she made an opinion. So hope that helps.
And that's the impression you made, right? So interesting. So a story about a speaker, again, another one
Please.
I worked with a while ago. She showed me her website And I said, don't tell me about what you do. Let me look at the website. Right. So I went to the website, and there's a picture of her walking out on stage wearing a suit that an astronaut would
Mhm.
wear. There's a rocket behind her. The word NASA's behind her. Um, and she's coming out, and I'm looking at some other things, and she goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh, you're a speaker for NASA. You're an astronaut." She goes, "No, I talk about AI."
Oh,
I go, "Okay, all right, stop." I said, "I get, and I get that you might have been on a stage where there was a rocket, or there might have been a stage, but I said your whole landing page is about
that's right.
space. Now, yes, AI is space aged. I'm making air quotes here for people who aren't watching,
Yes.
but my impression was you're an astronaut, you're a traveler, you're an adventurer. I didn't get the AI thing at all. So I think you need to look at your website and look at your social, like you were saying, and say, what is it saying to people who are looking
It's
at it, right? Am I always holding puppies? Well, puppies are cute, but is it because you work with puppies?
right,
Is it because you want to look cute and maternal?
right.
Or why are you doing that, right? I think there needs to be some purpose to your imagery. Am I on
You are
track?
100% on track. And to that point, Lee, another tip, nugget for speakers is that reverse engineer who you want to be. I think on RamonRay.com or some other pictures I have, Lee may have some of these pictures, is that I have a picture where I'm leaning in on a stage engaging with a audience member. It's one that I use quite a
Yes.
bit. It was in Aruba. And again, I don't have any science behind it, but that's the image I want people to think of Ramon. I can get behind the scenes shots. Many of us have that. Me just on stage. I
Mhm.
have all those pictures. But that, and I didn't mean to do it intentionally, but now in the future, that to me is the money shot of Ramon in action. The audience members like this. You capture her face. She's going, let me go from, she's going, and I'm leaning in.
That's Ramon looking like he's screaming. Yes,
Yes. And
okay.
I'm leaning in off the stage like this at her.
You're pointing.
Yes, it
Yep.
was just a perfect shot of, okay, that's me. If you want that, so hence for speakers who are looking for that, going back to image, again, it takes time. You can't just manufacture, don't be fake, don't be try to be me, because I can't be you. But I think to the point, those are some things that you can do well. And some of our mutual friends, one of our mutual friends, you know him well, Lee. He has a marquee. What do you call it? Not the shot. What you call your main shot or
Oh,
hero shot.
we'll call it the headshot or whatever.
Yeah, but like
But
the
yeah,
main his what he's known for. He's leaning back
right.
with a towel in his hand. That's his epic shot. He has the audience scream or something. So I don't even know where I was going, Lee. I don't know if I took the whole show in a whole other direction. I don't know if I'm off track, Lee. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. But you're the co-host, so I know you'll bring us back.
You always make sense because you're brilliant. But I'm going to jump
Mm.
right in there with headshots, because your
Yes.
headshot should exude your brand, right? And I know just the shot you're talking about. You have this energy that's exploding off of the stage into the audience. The audience is reacting. That is a fantastic shot because it speaks to your brand. It's explosive energy. And it's fun. I was on a TV set the other day, and they were talking about when you move toward the audience, you're quote unquote giving your energy away. But I think in a very good way. Here, you were throwing your energy into the audience, and you can see that. And I'm glad you brought the topic up of imagery, because again, that's another thing I tell speakers is that if your headshot looks like you're in high school, right? That you're sitting there perfectly posed with your head cocked with the green screen behind, or the gray model stuff behind you, that is not an appropriate speaker
Not at
headshot.
all.
I think your headshot that you send out has to say who you
Mm,
are. That's where color comes in. That's where energy, motion, and headshots, I think, for speakers, don't just have to be your framed face. They can have motion.
mm,
In fact, you had introduced me to a speaker once. I can't remember his name. I placed him once, and he is pointing at the camera, and his hand is actually sort of in front
mm,
toward the camera. So, one of
mhm.
those. He's pointing at the camera. I was able to place him on the headshot alone.
Absolutely.
I sent that to someone, and they said, Lee, whoever this guy is, like, we love his energy.
Right.
We want him. So there's a lot to be said for a headshot. That it's part of
That's
your
right. That's
brand,
right.
how you show
That's
up.
right. And I would tell all speakers, Lee, if you want to be a $5,000 speaker, $10,000 speaker, $30 speaker, the number matters, but meaning I'm encouraging all at various levels as
Oh,
you're
ever.
beginning your journey. Invest in a good photographer. Invest in a good photographer. Lee and I know dozens of them probably. You ask Lee, DM her, hear her, whatever you're doing, contact her. But invest in a good photographer. Don't have your mama do it unless she's a professional photographer. Don't have cousin Jerry do it just because he takes good pictures on his iPhone. We, Lee and myself and the others in the world, you could you can smell a difference. So invest in a couple $100, maybe Lee, could be low thousands. I don't know what it is, depends on what it wants, but in a good set of shots. And as Lee said, not just even the full picture frame shot, which even a good photographer can make it pop, even a good headshot, but just a few, 3, 4, 5, 10 different ones, and maybe invest in photography at events as well.
I'm gonna bring up Carl Gould
Hmm.
here. Carl, love him, great speaker. He had lousy headshots in the past, and he
He made an
spoke at an
upgrade.
event where he ran into. I'm sorry, Carl, you had terrible headshots. And he was an amazing,
He
right,
is.
and Carl's an
He's
amazing
amazing.
speaker. He has spoken to EO. I think he's been hired 85 times in the last some he's an excellent speaker. Didn't love his headshots. They were not of the quality they
Mhm.
should be. They didn't make the right image. A photographer actually volunteered to say, "Hey," they were like, "Can I do a portfolio for
Nice.
you?" Ramon, those pictures, beautiful.
Big.
Completely different
Yes.
guy. Completely different guy. And the outfits, so Carl speaks to like home
Mhm, mhm,
services, and he also speaks to EO CEOs and large
mhm.
corporations. Those are two different images. The branding is really a little bit different there. If you have somebody who owns a small company with 10 guys and some of his
Yeah.
imagery is, stepping into the
Mhm, mhm.
helicopter and stepping into the limo, that's not
Yeah, yeah.
them. Well, for them, he has this great image. He's wearing like a fleece vest, leaning back on a brick wall. Beautiful, beautiful. Like that's the image I send, and I can sell him to that group.
Yes.
But then when he wants to do the big corporate stuff, he's got the suit, he's got the tie, a little stiffer, got the
Mhm.
limo. It makes a
Yeah, it does.
different image.
And that's
So,
part of
yeah,
pre-connection with the audience before you even get there. I mean, those are we're way from that, but I think to your point, all those little things matter. So the event planner, the event manager, the audience, they want to see a little bit of them in you in some way. So I think that's excellent. And the converse matters too. If you think, oh, I want to be one with the people, and you're trying to be go up, well, going up, they don't want you to be one with the people. That didn't come out quite right. Meaning my point is, don't just put on a t-shirt and sit on your front porch. If you're talking to a different segment, they want a nice jacket and a collared shirt. So decide, what audience you're going to serve, and especially the person looking at you, what lens you're portraying to them.
you, you just brought such a great topic up. I'm going to bring a story back from when I was a human resources director, and people would say to me, Lee, what do I wear to a job
Mm,
interview? And this is what speakers are doing, right? It's a job interview. You want a job on stage. And my answer was find out what the company wears, what the employees wear, what the audience wears, and wear one step
I love it.
up. So if you're applying for a place where they wear ripped jeans and ripped t-shirts, you wear jeans that are not ripped and a clean t-shirt.
Absolutely.
If they wear t-shirts and jeans, you wear a polo shirt and jeans, right? So you're making a good impression without pointing, like without feeling that you're looking
Mm,
down, without you don't show up. If they wear jeans and t-shirts, you don't show up in a
that's right.
three-piece suit because people go, they're not going to fit in.
You look
Your
weird.
best foot forward is a little bit
That's right.
better. Just that it just shows you put out
That's right.
effort.
Yeah. No, for sure. People are
So
biased, Lee. People are biased, and the person's going to see it and be like, even if you would fit, they're not going to fit in. Just how the world is.
they're not going to fit right. And you have to fit. People like
That's
themselves.
right.
I'm going to say this all the time. People like themselves. All right, Ramon, we gotta hop to the
No
next
problem.
topic here. So I brought you on one of the reasons because of this book, Celebrity CEO, and one thing that is part of the image of someone is their celebrity. You are the master celebrity. Now, I always tell speakers you need celebrity. Well, funny thing, I was at the New York Speakers Association, and one woman there absolutely chewed me out for saying that. She said, just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you know anything. Just because somebody's on TV doesn't mean they're a good speaker. And I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't say you have to be a celebrity. I said you need celebrity. Well, you're the celebrity CEO.
Yes.
Tell me about
And then
that.
the word "the" was very intentional. To your point, Lee. Look how intuitive Lee is. My co-host of my no, not my show. That's right. The co-host of our show. is the celebrity CEO. You're exactly that. And I get the same pushback from time to time when people, haven't read it, don't get it. Oh, be a celebrity. I said, you're not listening. I said, just to
Not
be the
listening.
celebrity CEO of your industry. That's all I'm talking about. So, Lee,
Yep.
I do think it's important when you talk about getting a speaker at an event, and me and Bob, well, let's take me and Lee. Lee can handle. I'm going to put you in a pejorative Lee in
I
this
can
case. So,
handle it.
me and Lee are going for both creds, both great people, and they don't know how to make a choice, and they just casually flip. Oh, Ramon was on a three podcast, or he was on CNBC, or he wrote a book, or he went to South by Southwest. Take your pick of any complicated, highfalutin things or a compilation of small things. And Lee has, not that she would ever have, but this example, nothing, let's say. I'm
Mhm.
going to win. Why? To Lee's point, why is that celebrity status, small c even? We're not talking about being a president or famous athlete, but it's
Nope.
credibility. It's in a
Mhm.
sea of unknowns. He looks legit. Hey, he was good enough for Fox Business or MSNBC. Let's have him. So I'll pause there, Lee. But that's kind of what we mean talking about celebrity CEO, whether it's getting into media, getting into podcasts, getting on radio, having a byline, showcasing yourself at events, board of directors of the chamber, any combination of things you can do over time that really presents yourself as I'm third party validated by somebody that will help you.
And what really matters, so this is the kiss of death that I get when I talk to an event planner, someone who's hiring a speaker, and they say, could you give us some suggestions? Sometimes they come to me and they say, this is who we
Mhm.
want. Other times they'll come and say, can you give me a suggestion? The kiss of death is, I've never heard of them. If I give a name and they say, I've never heard of them, we're done. Like that, we're done. There's no point in even talking about that speaker anymore. I can hop up and down and say how great they are. Doesn't matter. And you just said it, right? You need to be the celebrity of your industry. So here's where target market comes in, right? If you need to go after an industry where it makes sense. And sometimes I think speakers just throw spaghetti at the wall, right? Any industry, anybody, I'll speak to anybody, but you're not a celebrity to everybody.
That's right. That's right. And I must say also, Lee, is that, and in case that happens, at the very least, a simple Google search, which everyone will do, or to give Lee ammunition. Hey, uh, my client who's been on CNBC has been featured in Inc. magazine a few times, comma, Jane Doe. She'd be great for your event. At least that is
Mhm.
okay. They don't even know they didn't know you, but Lee was able to put a few little cachets beforehand to make them feel comfortable. So even that may help. But that's why it's
And
important.
here's the homework. No, homework for listeners, right? Google yourself. If you haven't done it recently, Google yourself. What comes up other than just your website? Because you can be famous to you, but have you been in an article, right? Have you, like you said, have you been on TV? Has Inc. magazine said something about you? It does matter.
And can,
So how do we do some of those things, Ramon? You talk about celebrity CEO. How do we get our name out
yeah.
there where it
No, great. And can
matters?
I give a small hack about YouTube first? People probably don't want it. Maybe
Please
I should wait
do.
till after the recording and give it to you privately. You want me to give it to you now?
No, no, we want to hack. We want to hack publicly.
Go on YouTube, assuming your YouTube is relatively dialed in for speakers. Customize the channel. Add a playlist. Then go to other places on YouTube where you're featured. Add those to newly created playlist. Those will now appear on your channel. So the end result being on Ramon Ray's YouTube, there's a playlist that says media, and other places I've been will appear there. So my point is, you don't just have to put your own content on your channel, but it can be, I can show this interview on my channel without Lee's permission, but I just added to a playlist. 10% of you may have known that already, but for me, it wasn't a hack really, but just like, oh, that's right. So I have a new playlist where I can add third-party interviews to my own channel. Did that make any sense, Lee? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's new to me. I'm so glad that we did this hack during the show and
Mhm.
not silently after. I never thought about
And it's
that.
a my
But yes, but people need to hear people talk about
right.
you as much as they need to hear you
Right. Because then
talk.
you can have a playlist of best hits or whatever, working with people like yourself, Lee, right? Lee can say, oh,
Right.
here's their playlist of the last 20 interviews they had on podcasts. So how can they do this, Lee? I think one, ask your friends. That's when I mean professional friends. Me and Lee are friends. Her and I together overlap. We know some good peeps. We could text, call, the best of the best. As a favor to us, nobody has to know it was a favor. They'll say, oh, Lee, sure, happy to put you on my podcast. So that's one. Start there. Just ask the friends who you know. That's one. Number two, start to record yourself. You're at the chamber meeting. You're at this and that event. Bring your own video camera. Bring your phone. Bring a small little tripod. I carry one with me most everywhere I go. Ask an audience member, hey, I'll be speaking here for 15 minutes. You think you can just record me? So that's number two. Number three, you can be a featured writer, columnist on Entrepreneur, on Inc., many platforms. It doesn't have to be those, but many other platforms are looking for featured writers. That's number three. Number four, I would say, create your own podcast. Again, we're in such a battle for attention. You do your own podcast, a simple Google search or pointing to people, at least someone like Lee who's trying to help you out or represent you, whatever it may be, or for yourself. People can see, oh, they've interviewed 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, and that will help. So do your own podcast, get bylined articles, seek to be on other people's podcasts, and pitch yourself to media, local media. I've been on Rochester TV, I think, a few times, Lee. They're a small enough station. Is it, crushing servers somewhere? No, but it's on TV.
But it's credibility, right? And you said one of the little C's in celebrity is credibility, and that does it. And I'm going to throw one more out here. Here's a little kudos to Authority Magazine.
Yes.
Authority Magazine, you can pitch, and if you pitch it well and think about it and pay attention to what they're looking for, then you can get an article in Authority. Now, here's what I love about Authority. The article will not be by you, it'll be about you. And then they byline it with their writers.
Yes.
So it's all about Ramon Ray and amazing things he's done and written by somebody else, which I think adds to credibility too, right? So you can be a writer for Inc. magazine, but then you can also be interviewed by Authority magazine. So something else to
Lee,
think about.
as you may know, Peter Shankman, the founder of Haro, helped a reporter out, which was closed. It was bought and sold many, many years ago, but he's back with something called SOS. I forgot what it stands for, but if people just Google Peter Shankman SOS, he has like a media inquiry thing where about 3 times a day, you get a list of journalists looking to feature people. So again, it's a little tough, because thousands of people reply, but that's right in line with Authority Magazine. Pitch yourself and be featured, on radio, blogs, TV. Try it out.
Right. And one of the points here is it's going to take effort.
Yes.
If you want to have good media, if you want to get on TV, if you want to get one of these, SOS from Peter Shankman, which is such a great tip, but to get on there, it takes chutzpah, right? You need to keep after it. It takes a little bit of guts, you've got to sell yourself. It's not going to just happen, right? You're not going to be discovered. Let's just lay it out there. You're not going to walk down the street and somebody's going to go, Ramon, like, who are you? I want to put you on stage. You need to get out there.
Come right in the station. We'll give you a $10 million contract right now.
Yeah, we'll give you the contract. Just doesn't happen. And, it's interesting because you look at those stars out there, the big box office stars now, they didn't start that way. They started by hustling. I was just watching this fabulous interview. Morgan Freeman was roasting Denzel Washington. And look for it on YouTube. It's fabulous. But he made the point of when he started working with Denzel was nobody. And he was like, kid, get out of my way. You're nobody, right? But look at him now, and it's because he kept grinding. So if you want to have celebrity, if you want to get known, keep grinding.
And Lee, that's what makes me happy about working with you, Lee. I mean, you and I are already all that in a bag of chips, so the chips is getting bigger and bigger.
Jalapeno chips.
I'm saying this jokingly, but I really do mean it. Lee, imagine you and I in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. We'll be a lot older then, so different stage of life. But I know Lee. Lee knows me. I'll be like backstage at the Academy Awards hosting. She'll be like, yo, Ramon, listen, I came by my family. I'm at the side door. Girl, I got you. Lee will be like with Princess somebody in Dubai, a million people like, Lee, I just flew in. Can you tell the Emirate to open the door real quick? Ramon, say less, of course. It's relationships. So I just wanted to say that in a Ramonish way. It's cool. Like you mentioned, Morgan Freeman, Denzel, Lee Hayes, Ramon Ray, same thing.
Absolutely. No, it is relationships and celebrities relationships because I looked it up. Celebrity means, in the Oxford Dictionary, known by others.
Okay.
That's what it means. Known by others. So the more people who know you, the bigger the celebrity, right? The bigger the C gets. All right, Ramon, I've got to cheat here and look at
Let's
my
go. Look at
list.
the list. Let's go. Let's go.
So is there such thing as overexposure? Does Taylor Swift worry about overexposure? Does Bruce Springsteen worry about over? Is there overexposure? Do you? Because I've had speakers say this to me, Lee, I'm afraid that if I put video out there and people see the video, like they're not going to want me because they've already seen the video.
Sure.
Have you been overexposed?
I have not. But the answer I do believe is yes. There
Ooh,
can
do
be a
tell.
thing called overexposure. To unpack it, don't even know if I could. We can banter it a bit, but I think overexposure, if they mean the cousin to, you're cheapening yourself. The cousin to, the word is out, they go everywhere. You lose the aura, even if it's like talk to my agent, even if it's like talk to somebody. Hey, you do it for free, or you do it resu. So you get what I'm trying to get at. So I'm honoring the theory of overexposure of just yes, you're kind of just you feel cheap. You're cheapening yourself. However, to what the speaker was talking to you about, no. Everybody who says, Ramon, can I interview you? Can I do this with you? I will consider. It may not be tomorrow. I may not rush to do it like I would with Lee Hayes. Yes. But I may say, hey, let's schedule it for whatever it is. So I think, no, the more content you have out there, the better it absolutely is. So in the context that we're talking about, no, you cannot be overexposed. But I just wanted to give a caveat, 10%. I get what some can mean being careful of the brand, limiting access, especially for true celebrities, right? Imagine if Barack Obama were hanging everywhere in the world. He couldn't because security issue, but if you were, his brand would become cheaper and cheaper. Like, oh, everybody can get it. It just be a little weird. So few of us will be at that level, but that's where I wanted to give that 5%, 10% pause of I get what they mean, but for most of us people, no, you can put Ramon on blast 24/7.
Well, I was going to say, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are that you are not an A-lister, meaning that you are making $1 million or more per keynote. Like, would you call her Ope?
Yes.
So Ope, who I once looked into, sorry, that's Oprah Winfrey for you, those who
Yeah,
are
not
not
Ramon.
close friends with
Yeah.
her. For Ope, like I once had a client say, Lee, what would it cost me to get her? And I contacted the people of her
Mhm.
people, and they said 2 million. 2 million to come to your
If she
event.
says yes.
If she says yes, right, 2 million. Oprah is not going to be listening to this podcast probably, and quite frankly, there's somebody who's not worried about overexposure. She has her own magazine. She has her own network. Like she's everywhere. Her face is on the cover of every one of her magazines. And you know what? I've never gotten tired of looking at her. Never, never. So those very few people who might actually get overexposed, do not cheapen yourself, but I'm not too worried
And
about
you
it
know
for
what?
most of
For
us.
those who are overexposed, Lee, those people who are like pushing their hair back and saying, oh my God, Lee, I got my second speaking gig this year. I'm too busy. Call me and Lee. We can help you. Trust me. Just
Well,
all that overexposure, like, you're getting too many calls from the Queen of whoever and Queen of Prince of Wales, whatever. Just call Lee. Lee can trust me. She can solve your problem for you.
I will manage it for you. Not a problem. All right, Ramon, hop into the next
Let's do it.
topic here. Reading your book, you mention to focus on engagement, not numbers, not the number of followers. And this is interesting because I knew a guy, again, he was not a speaker, he was a businessman, but everyone, like when he would talk to groups, he'd be like, connect with me, connect with me, connect with me. What's the difference between having a zillion followers and having people who engage with
Sure.
you?
Mr. Beast, who not everybody knows. Mr. Beast, though, millions and millions of followers. Congratulations. I forgot his real name, Tyler Jensen, something like that. Deal with Netflix. Overall known. Oprah Winfrey, millions of followers. Take your top athlete, whoever you want. So we understand what that means, right? That's the count.
Right.
But I would say for most of us, Lee, if you have some following, and that following is liking, is commenting, is looking forward to you, misses you when you're not there, you are on the route. Few of us will have the hundreds of millions of followers, but you don't need it to make an impact. The key is, do people notice you? Do people pay attention when you speak? And I must say, Lee, going back to, as an example, the celebrity CEO, I got 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's not even a micro influencer. That's way less than hundreds of thousands of some of our peers, maybe speakers you work with. And do I wish I had more? Sure. Numbers do matter, Lee, in some way, but that's enough. And all the other things I'm doing to be Ramon can be a celebrity CEO in his market of small business influencers. So I hope that's helpful. So numbers,
So you have the right people is
yes.
what you're saying, and you engage
That
with
is
the
correct.
right
But
people.
notwithstanding, not trying to say don't have a big following, because those things matter, number in some way, shape, or fashion. But the focus should be let me put my head down, keep adding great content, deliver to my audience, keep serving them. You look up 6 months later, wow, I'm gaining traction.
So interesting. We're going to go back to the yellow guy. So Jesse Cole, I love, and the Savannah Bananas. Here's an interesting thing with numbers that you made me just think about. The Bananas and his teams, I think cumulatively have about 20 million followers, right? So they're legit. They have a lot of followers. Jesse, if you go to LinkedIn, the last time I looked, maybe 200,000, maybe it's 300,000 now. I have not looked recently. So only a tiny percentage of what the Bananas do, but his followers are extremely
Very
engaged, right? He cannot put up a post without getting 500, 800,000 likes,
huge.
100 comments, every post. So let's talk a little bit about content here. Do you put up what you had for lunch that day, assuming that you're not
Yep.
a celebrity food tester or whatnot? Does engage like how do you
Sure,
engage
sure, yeah.
people?
And I think it's interesting you see that about Jesse, going on LinkedIn. I think it's a great example because I think it shows that I bet his followers could be other CEOs, business leaders, people in marketing, et cetera,
Yes.
not the fan base. So that's an interesting anthropological. Whew, that's a big word.
Yep, it's absolutely true, right? The fans are on
Yes.
TikTok, they're on YouTube, they're whatever. Those are the fans, the rabid fans. His business fans, the people who hire him to get on stages, those are CEOs and they're on
Yep.
LinkedIn.
Can I give you a story, Lee? And then you can, I don't know if I answer your
Please, I
question, just
love
a
your stories.
story or something that's happened to me recently. As you know, I have a show. I think I still have it on USA Today Networks, which I was very proud of
Yes, you
and
do.
very happy to say the name USA Today Networks, big third party validation. But in fairness, it hasn't moved the needle much for my brand, Lee. It hasn't moved it very much. Having said that, I've not been so well the past several days, as of this talking to you. And I've been going live for over 200 episodes. That's a lot, Lee. Over 200, I think
That's a lot alive.
300 live daily, Monday through Friday. Point being, Lee, I realized, you know what? This is not making much of a difference for me. So recently I stopped going live daily. But what I haven't stopped doing is still doing video. Now I wake up. If I have a good deep thought, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, that's a deep thought for me, I post it. That's gaining possibly the same traction or more as me going live daily. What I'm trying to tell the people. I don't have a direct answer for everyone about content. Live, no live, which mic, what mic not to use. But here's I'm a firm believer of good content at some frequent periodic basis, it does make a difference to the right audience. Everything else, it's up to you to figure out. Lead to anything smart you can pull out of what I just said.
What I heard was you have to listen to your audience. If they connect, do more of what they connect
Yes.
with. Am I hearing you?
Yes. Yes.
All
I love it,
right.
Lee. That's exactly right. And that goes back, you asked about numbers and things of that nature. That's why I said that, what works for Lee? Ramon, you got to get on YouTube. Got to get on YouTube. YouTube's taking off. You're right, Lee. You're exactly right. But guess what, Lee? I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. It's taking off now, Ramon. So I hope y'all understood the jest having fun, but meaning a few of us can do everything. Few of us are like Gary Vaynerchuk. God bless him. He's built a whole machine. He's the father of modern day social media marketing. Few of us can do that. But my encouragement to speakers seems like I would definitely default to LinkedIn. Learn that, post on that, and show yourself as a speaker also, not just talking head. That's a side note I'm trying to learn. Show people as a speaker, and the rest will happen.
It's so interesting what you're saying. So yes, Gary Vaynerchuk, absolutely. But his brand is being the father of
Yeah,
social
no,
media
he's
and
everywhere.
marketing. Like that's who he is, right? So he's everywhere because that's who he is. But if your brand is something else, you need to go where's right for
Mhm.
you, right? And you're right. I think for me, I have found LinkedIn is the place where speakers, I actually get leads off
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Some of my speakers get leads off LinkedIn, right? Because people connect, say, I follow you, I listen to you. and I'd like to connect with you on a personal basis. So I absolutely believe in that one. I'm sure there are other platforms where if it's right for you, then that's where you need to be, right? If it's right for your
Correct.
brand. And so I'm circling back here. I'm trying to creatively circle back to
Yeah.
brand that oh, you know what? Actually, I wanted to ask you a
Please.
question. Have you had a branding fail? So you're pretty locked in now. I know who Ramon is. He is bacon flavored pop rocks. He's bright colors. He's high energy. But maybe not now, maybe further back. Did you try branding stuff and just go, "What? That was a waste of my time or a total mistake?"
I think two things. Yeah, and one could be a story. We'll see. But I know, this is more metaphorically. I don't know if anybody told me this directly. I'm not sure exactly, but I look at other speakers and admire them. Seth Godin and Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart happen to be three people who I just, for whatever reason, the latter two, their talent, they're funny, and they have these empires. I'm like, it seems kind of cool.
And super strong
Yes.
brands, you know
And
just who
super
they are.
strong bands, of course, at a
Just
whole
who they are.
different 10x level, millions level is mine. So,
Oh,
but
sure.
super strong brands dialed in. And I think at one point, Lee, again, I don't have it 100% memory, but I could have been trying to be like them too much. Especially Seth
Mm.
Godin, a period of time where maybe somebody could have called me out like, Ramon, why are you speaking so soft? I'm like, oh, no, trying to be like Seth.
'Cause I'm Seth.
Exactly. And so I think that's one thing if that helps. And the other thing, Lee,
Yeah, don't be someone else, be you.
correct. Be yourself. Have a good time, sweetheart. Be yourself.
Okay.
And then the second thing that I've learned is that I was at an event once, big event of our peers, Lee. I may have shared the story with you. And two or three good friends said, Ramon, kind of the audience is not receiving how you're hosting. The short of the story is I amended, I changed, I shifted, and I'm happy to talk about that in a minute if you want. I can share more detail. But the point I'm making is that not that I wasn't a fit for the audience, but I believe there was a certain element of the audience that kind of didn't want that style of how I was, and that's okay. So it wasn't quite your example of a brand failure, but speakers, anybody not be for you, not in a bad way or some racist or evil way. No. But I mean, they may want a speaker that's a bit more academic and detailed. That's okay. They may want a speaker that's full on humor, and comedic. That's okay. So,
Mhm.
Lee, help me out here. Is that kind of was that another thread that you can pull on, Lee?
It is a great thread, and you actually just circled back to my very first episode of this podcast, which is when I asked listeners, what kind of speaker are you?
Mm,
Specifically, are you an
mhm.
edutainer, a talker, a teller, a teacher, or a seller? Because those are my 5 categories and they're different.
Yes.
And if you show up as one of those and the audience is not looking for that, you've got a
Yes.
problem,
Yes.
right? So if you're a storyteller but you give them no content, people are going to go, "Well, I didn't learn anything." Like he climbed Mount Everest, but that didn't help me. Or if you sell something to the audience and they're not expecting
Right.
that, ooh, that's bad, right? So yes, you've got, and definitely personality, definitely connecting with the audience, but you've got to show up how they expect you to show up, how they
Yeah,
hired you to
yeah.
show up.
And I think that's why it's good having people like Lee who can help guide
Hmm.
event planners and help them understand which speaker to pick. Not in a bad way, but saying, you know what? Okay, Jenny, you probably don't want to have her after lunch. Her story is so good, but not that people will sleep, but in this silly example, he may sleep. But
Hmm.
Jenny is perfect. You have her at the third speaker. She's going to greatly connect with the CEO as he comes about change. I'm making it up. I don't know if this is what you do, but I'm imagining it. And or this speaker is great. You want to have them close off because you want people to run out that room, get in their cars, and never forgetting your event. Have this speaker right here. So knowing what you do is helpful for people like Lee to help her clients and et cetera. So yes, knowing what type of speaker you are, and not that you can't shift 1 or 2 degrees, sure you can fit there, but definitely the person who's great at a workshop, 3 hours going deep, not that they couldn't, but they may not be the best speaker for 45-minute high intensity keynote, and that's okay.
Yep. But that's absolutely okay, right? That's absolutely okay. Own who you are. There is a market for it.
That's right.
So, but coming back to brand, once you figure out who you are and what you want to do, that is what you have to project so that people understand that's what you do.
That's right.
All right, Ramon, I'm going to wrap up here with one
Okay.
question. What would you have told yourself about branding when you were starting out? You did not know what you
Mm.
know now. What would you have told baby Ramon about branding when you were getting started?
Over the years, Lee, I wish I would have showcased myself more as a speaker. Sounds ironic, but I've done a lot of different things. Zone of Genius, Celebrity CEO Ramon here, Talking Head videos, podcast, blah, 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 SMB brand ambassador. So I just wish I would have dialed in X% more and showcased Ramon as a speaker on stage more. So the market was very clear. I am a keynote speaker. You know that, Lee. Other people know that, but I think over the years it could have been dialed in even more tighter. So that's what I've told Ramon a few years ago, and I'm still working on it because, again, I can do, and I do a few different things. So that's a good thing, but then sometimes it doesn't serve me so well when I'm trying to hone in and be a great speaker.
Great tip. Everyone listen to that one, that if your focus is being a speaker, your brand should put speaker first, right? Don't be 12 other things. Be a speaker. Thank you so much, Ramon Ray. My gosh.
Thank you, Lee.
Have a great afternoon, and I'm sure I will have you back again if I can drag you back onto the
Indeed.
podcast. Thanks for listening to Path to the Main Stage. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And for full video episodes, check out YouTube. If you want to be a successful speaker, you need to make it happen. My co-hosts and I are here to help guide you. But if you need more help, please check out pathtothemainstage.com where we can connect. And until next time, keep sharing your voice, keep showing up, and keep taking your path to the main stage.